Welcome back to IELTS Speaking Practice with Friends. In this episode, Anna will take on a full IELTS speaking test with Tom as the examiner. Today's questions are all about cold weather, competitions, and sports. Let's get started.
Let's talk about cold weather. Have you ever been in very cold weather? When?
Yes, I have. A few years ago, I visited Seoul in January, and the temperature dropped to minus 15 degrees Celsius. It was absolutely freezing. I remember wearing 3 layers of clothing, thermal socks, and still shivering. It was the coldest I've ever felt, but it was also quite magical, especially when it snowed.
How often is the weather cold where you come from?
Well, I come from a tropical country, so it's rarely cold. Most of the year, we have hot and humid weather. The coolest months are December and January, but even then, the temperature only drops slightly, maybe to 20 degrees Celsius at night, which is still mild compared to other places.
Are some parts of your country colder than others? Why?
Yes, definitely. The northern regions and mountainous areas can be cooler due to the elevation. In places like Chiang Mai or the highlands, the temperature can drop quite a bit during the dry season. The southern coastal areas, however, stay warm year round.
Would you prefer to live in a hot place or a cold place? Why?
I think I would prefer a place with a cool climate. Not freezing, but pleasantly cool. I find it easier to concentrate and sleep better in cooler temperatures. That said, extreme cold can be tough to handle, so maybe a temperate climate would be ideal.
Now I'd like you to talk for 1 to 2 minutes. Describe a competition you took part in. You should say what kind of competition it was and how you found out about it, what you had to do, and explain why you chose to take part in this competition.
One competition that really stands out in my memory was a university-wide public speaking contest that took place during my final year. I came across it quite by accident. There was a flyer posted in the student cafeteria, and at first I just glanced at it without much interest. But later, a classmate brought it up during a discussion, and I started to seriously consider joining. The competition was organized by the university's English department and was open to all students, regardless of major. The aim was to promote self-confidence, fluency, and persuasive communication. We were asked to deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech on a topic of our choice, and we'd be judged on our content, delivery, clarity, and how well we engaged the audience. After thinking for a few days, I chose the topic, Why Failure is a Stepping Stone to Success, something I could relate to personally. Preparing for the competition was no small task. I spent a week researching quotes, personal stories, and examples to include in my speech. I wrote multiple drafts, rehearsed in front of the mirror, and even recorded myself to work on my intonation and body language. On the day of the competition, I was both excited and nervous. The auditorium was full with students, teachers, and even some local media. When it was my turn to speak, I took a deep breath and reminded myself to enjoy the moment. I focused on speaking clearly, using hand gestures naturally, and making eye contact with different parts of the audience. To my surprise, I won first place. The judges said they appreciated the emotional honesty and the strong structure of my speech. More than the award, the experience taught me that stepping outside your comfort zone can open doors you didn't even know existed. I joined because I wanted to challenge myself, and I ended up discovering a new passion for public speaking.
Let's talk about competitions in school. Why do you think some school teachers use competitions as class activities?
I believe teachers use competitions to make learning more engaging and fun. When students compete, they often become more motivated to participate and do well. It also adds a sense of excitement to the classroom, which can boost overall energy and focus. However, it's important that these competitions are friendly and don't put too much pressure on the students.
Do you think it is a good thing to give prizes to children who do well at school? Why?
Yes, I think rewards can be a good form of encouragement, especially for younger children. They give students a tangible goal to work towards and help build self-esteem. That said, rewards should not be the only motivation. It's also important to recognize effort and improvement, not just top performance.
Would you say that schools for young children have become more or less competitive since you were that age? Why?
I'd say they've become more competitive. These days, even kindergarten students are taking exams and joining contests. Parents often push their children to achieve more from an early age, which creates a high pressure environment. While it can lead to better academic results, it might also cause stress and reduce the joy of learning.
Let's move on to sporting competitions. What are the advantages and disadvantages of intensive training for young sports people?
The main advantage is that it helps young athletes reach a high level of performance early on. They develop discipline, physical strength, and a strong work ethic. On the downside, intensive training can lead to injuries, burnout, and even emotional pressure if the expectations are too high. Balance is key.
Some people think that competition leads to a better performance from sports stars. Others think it just makes players feel insecure. What is your opinion?
I think it depends on the individual and the support they receive. Healthy competition can push athletes to improve and reach their full potential. But when it's excessive or accompanied by harsh criticism, it can lower self confidence and cause anxiety. Coaches and parents play a big role in creating a positive competitive environment.
Do you think that it is possible to become too competitive in sport? In what way?
Absolutely. When someone becomes obsessed with winning at all costs, they may lose sight of fair play and teamwork. It can also lead to aggressive behavior, stress, and even unethical actions like cheating. Sports should teach values, not just how to win.
That was a fantastic performance by Anna in today's IELTS Speaking mock test. We hope this helped you learn how to answer questions naturally and fluently at a high level. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes every week. See you next time on IELTS Speaking Practice with Friends.